If you're living in Versailles or near Versailles and you have a child between the ages of 2.5 and 6, and you're looking to start them in a school that has a bilingual program, French and English, then I'd like you to listen to my review of my daughter's school. I think it's one of the best schools in all of France, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, before I tell you the name of the school, let me just tell you there are two schools at Versailles that are unrelated to each other with exactly the same name. So it's a little confusing. The school that my daughter goes to is next to the train station called the Gare de Montreuil, and it's headed by Véronique Sudoir. Her last name is Sudoir, Sodoir. That's the school you want your children to go to if you like hearing what I have to say. And I want to tell you they've been here in Versailles for over 30 years, and they are a Montessori school. But before you say, oh, Montessori, I don't think they're strong on academics, let me tell you what I'm going to tell you is going to change your view on that. Because in 1 year, my daughter went from hardly knowing her alphabet to reading. And she started at age 4, and by age 5, before she started Grande Section, she was reading very complicated sentences. You know, the flock of seagulls threw Bill in the ocean. I mean, that's not an easy thing to read in English. She was also doing arithmetic. When she arrived at age 4, she could hardly count to 30 in English, couldn't count to anything in French. She was counting to 100 in French and English and doing addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Mommy, 3 times 10 is 30. And I would say yes. And I didn't spend any time with her at all. The name of the school is Ecole Bilangue Maria Montessori. And like I said, there are 2 schools by that name in Versailles. You want the one that's headed by Véronique Sudoir and is located right next to the Gare de Montreuil train station. There are 3 aspects of the school I absolutely love. One of them is, of course, the bilingual aspect of the school. I think it's an excellent program for getting your kids to speak both French and English. If they come into the school speaking only English, they will end up learning French. And if they come into the school speaking only French, they will end up learning English, for sure, very quickly at that. The second reason why I love this school is because it has a very strong focus on academics. And I'm going to get into that as well. And the third aspect is that they are just a wonderful school in terms of teaching your child to be proud and happy, proud of themselves and who they are, happy, self-sufficient, and they do amazing extracurricular activities. They go on ski trips. My daughter has a pony class that runs throughout the year. It's not just a one-off. It runs all throughout the years. They go to a 6-day ski trip in the Alps. She has music class. I mean, it's really an amazing program. And the school does start at age 2.5. It goes all the way to age 11. I think they leave at college. Okay, but I am going to be talking about my experience, which is really the program that starts at age 2.5 and goes through to age 6. So with that, let me start by talking to you about its bilingual program. So let me tell you what's so special and what's so different about my daughter's school for bilingual education. First of all, at age 2.5 and at 3, if you put your child at those ages at the school, they will get 50-50 exposed to French and English during the day. At age 4 and 5, they get put into either an Anglophone section or a Francophone section. That doesn't mean that they're only learning English or only learning French. It means that they learn to read in one core language first, and then they'll catch up with the other language when they're 6 years old and entering first grade, or what the French calls CP. So if you are a French-speaking parent with a French-speaking child, your child will have to pass this test to be in the Anglophone section. But and in my case, if your child is like my child, she didn't know any French at all when she arrived at age 4, she would have had to pass a test to be in the Francophone section, which she would have failed because she could only say bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame. But the basic idea is you learn to read faster if you can learn to recognize the words as you're sounding them out. So you need to know the language in order to do that. And so if you know French and you don't have enough English to be able to read English, you'll be put in the Francophone section. If you don't have enough French to read French, then you'll put in the Anglophone section. And then when you're at CP, you'll catch up with the other language. And this works really beautifully.